The Drake OVO store was vandalized in Manhattan. And I'm gonna tell y'all right now before the K-Bot start the bullshit, no, y'all can't pat yourself on the back for this. Y'all had nothing to do with this. This was some other shit. This was like just another day in New York type shit, fam. There's always some shit popping off. Let's just be honest, let's just be real. Well, look here. The October's very own store was vandalized by a lady wielding a hammer, fam. She was busting glass and throwing shit all around, made a scene. The store had to close for a little minute. Look, drop it in the comments. This has nothing to do. I want to say that again. I want to repeat that before the internet run with it. Had nothing to do with Kendrick Lamar. It was just a wild woman, fam, in a black bra and some leather pants. Yeah, she had some leather pants on. Just swinging that motherfucking hammer, swinging away. But she was there on a mission. Maybe Drake didn't notice her, I don't know, bro. Y'all drop it in the comments. Offset Kiari album failed to meet expectations. Now, I'm not gonna just go out and call it lackluster, because I actually like the Migos. They all got the same little rhythm pattern, and I fucks with it. Shout out to Atlanta. I'm rocking with Atlanta. I can't bad talk Atlanta. Point blank, period. Now, the album, I'm not gonna just say it's for me, but it didn't meet expectations. Look, fans were very excited about this album. They loved the rollout. But it seems like as the album dropped, they wasn't excited no more. They lost all excitement for it and started listening to something else. Let's just be honest, let's just be real. 28,000 first units, first week projections. That's in sales. That's not good. Yeah, that's not good. Offset, what are you doing, fam? What are you doing? You got to do more. Quavo, you got to do more with Quavo. Yeah, they want to see the Migos, man. They don't just want to see an Offset. That's just fucking true. Drop it in the comments. Squash from the playground. Young Thug is being compared to Gunna for snitching, fam. Snitching. It's a thin line between snitch or not. Let's just be honest. Let's just be real. It was a 2-hour interrogation. Well, Young Thugger told them everything they wanted to know. Let's just be honest, let's just be real. He talked way more than Gunna, if we just being honest. Drop it in the comments, fam. Academic said it best, bro. You can't pick and choose what's snitching and what's not. If you're really going out like the old gangster way, all your ass supposed to do is say lawyer, you know what I mean, lawyer. You telling stories and shit over some shit that you really know something about, you know? Hey, it blurs the line. Let's just be honest, let's just be real. It's a thin line between snitch or not. Y'all drop it in the comments. Scars from the playground. Shout out Young Thug, because I like him. Yeah, despite me saying all this shit, I still like him. But he ain't just rocking with his music right now today. Drop it in the comments. Just being honest, just being real. Scars from the playground. Glasses Malone throwing shots at Drake. He said you could buy cut ring and cut chain, but guess what? You still can't sit with us, because you're not like us. Look, man, that ain't even cool. That's probably like the gayest thing I've ever heard. You know what I mean? Especially in 2025. Glasses Malone, you're like 47 years old, bro. What are you talking about? You could buy cut, and he's talking about Tupac for y'all that don't know. Dre bought the ring and it's a chain, even though the chain is not the real chain. And that's official. It's not the real chain, but what does it fucking matter, bro? Pac is not from the West Coast. Like, y'all stop it with the foolishness. He was MC New York, nigga. What the fuck is wrong with y'all? You can't sit next to us. Who wants to sit next to you, Glasses Malone? It's not like he's requesting a feature from your boy. Yeah, sit your big ass down, bro. You tripping. Yeah, it's like I said, that was friendly. That wasn't even cool. Drop it in the comments. Scars from the playground. Spike Lee's highest to lowest film with Denzel Washington will premiere on Apple TV September 5th, 2025. Look, it was released in theaters August 15th. It's doing a good job there, might I add. But this is with Denzel Washington playing David King, a powerful music mogul targeted by a ransom plot, forced to fight for his family and his legacy. Also starring A$AP Rocky. I think A$AP Rocky is the son of the friend. Yeah, I think he's the son of the friend. At one point in the movie, they get in a little rap battle, and they say Denzel beat him. You know what I mean? Look, drop it in the, and it was all unscripted. Look, drop it in the comments. Shout out Spike Lee, shout out Denzel Washington, shout out A$AP Rocky. Look, Apple TV, Apple is trying to take over the world, fam. Yeah, they should have put this bitch on Amazon Prime, but it's gonna be on Apple. Unfortunately, I'm not subscribed right now. Drop it in the comments. Cars from the Playground. Look, Lauryn Hill motivated Chance the Rapper to release his Starline album. And for those that don't know who the fuck Chance the Rapper is, I implore you to go listen to this album because it's dope as a motherfucker. Let's just be honest. Let's just be real. Well, look, he say, Lauryn Hill actually motivated him to get back out here. Look, this is his first album after what, 6-7 years? She say, she told him, she called him one night, texted him, she told him she seen him, he was supposed to do the second season of The Voice. She say, there's nothing more important than the art. Basically, all money ain't good money. The man say it broke him down to his brake pads. He cried, fam. He really shed tears behind this. And what he did, got back in the ring. Even though he's still doing The Voice, it made him think, fam. It's all about the art. You can't always take the paycheck and just forget about what made you into what you are. Drop it in the comments. Cars from the Playground. YNW Melly loses lawsuit against the Broward Sheriff's Department. It was dismissed. He did a 12-page complaint November of 2024. That habeas corpus petition has been dismissed. Look, bro, he was blaming it on poor conditions, 24-hour solitary confinement. Apparently, they locked him in there and forgot about him. Couldn't even get in touch with his lawyers. Look, bro, it is prison. It is prison. If there's any truth to the allegations that that man had anything to do with sack chase and juvie, bro, unfortunately, you better get used to it. And this ain't for me to try to convict him, but what I heard just don't look good. Let's just be honest. Let's just be real. Drop it in the comments. Cars from the Playground. And shout out Melly, because I like him. You know, the music at least. Nas performed at the 2025 Montreal International Jazz Festival. It was a one-of-a-kind performance with a symphony orchestra, fam. He played 2 sold-out nights. He did the Illmatic with a symphony orchestra behind him, fam. This is legendary. Him, Scarface, look, they bringing this shit back to what it's supposed to be. Music, fam. Drop it in the comments, dog. He had his Sinatra in the Sands moment. 3,000 people standing on their feet, begging for encore. So what he did, he gave them an encore, fam. He did all type of other little medleys with a 4-piece band. Look, shout out Nazir. Drop it in the comments. But this is why this man wasn't defeated by Jigga. Yeah, he been going up ever since. Yeah, Mass Appeal. Drop it in the comments. Cars from the Playground. Joy Badass announces the Dark Aura Tour with Ab-Soul, the Black Little Pastor, and Rhapsody will be there too. They not gonna be there every night. Look, it's 25 shows total. Starting with what the album, this is to promote the album. The album, Lonely at the Top, will drop August 29th. It's been like a lot of confusion behind the scenes with Columbia Records, but like he say, it's been signed, sealed, and delivered. Now, he just dropped the Dark Aura single. I can't tell you if it's lackluster or not because I haven't heard it. That first one he did on Jimmy Kimmel, wasn't really fucking with that. I wasn't really fucking with that like that, but I'd probably have to hear it again. You know what I mean? Look, drop it in the comments. He's going on tour. Tour kicks off October 16th in Montreal. It will wrap up in Philadelphia November 21st. Look, it's gonna be a hell of a show. And the Black Little Pastor there too, it's gonna be some real rapping. Yeah, that's for sure. Drop it in the comments. Cars from the Playground. Jay-Z, Imaginary Players, gains 300% streaming increase, fam. This is a 1997 track off of In My Lifetime Volume 1. You know what I mean? What's the difference between a 4.0 and a 4.6? By 200,000, cocksucker. Beat it. You know what I mean? Look, this song is dope, fam. Dope. It's getting more attention right now because Cardi B sampled it. They say that was lackluster. Look, Joe Budden say it wasn't worth it. You know, I heard a snippet of it. To me, I feel like she ain't what you expect. It's Cardi B, fam. It's how she raps. Some people say you ain't supposed to touch shit like that, but I gotta salute her for having courage. Well, look here, fam, and this is from Jay-Z's sophomore album. The album sees a 300% streaming increase. Shout out Jigga, fam. Yeah, shout out Jigga. Yeah, apparently he was not guilty, fam. Y'all gotta let it ride. Y'all drop it in the comments. Scars from the playground. Look, Timberland refused to sign Bryson Tiller despite a verbal agreement. Look, Timbo was impressed after he heard that single, that debut single, Don't, off that Trap Soul. Impressed so much, he told him, urged him, man, quit your job, fly to Miami, and come get the work. He was under the impression that he was being signed, fam. He say after recording songs like Sorry Not Sorry and Been That Way, Timberland was unimpressed. Sent him back to Kentucky with nothing but the little advance money. He say once that ran out, he called Timberland like, what's up, fam? Is the deal still on the table? I quit my job and everything for it. He say Tim told him, bro, I didn't never tell you to actually quit your job, bro. What the fuck? You know what I mean? Look, he said it was the last he heard from him. Timberland say he's a hell of a writer, bro. He wishes them the best. Look, shout out Bryson Tiller because I like him. Kanye West's Instagram page, Ye, Yeezy, Instagram page was hacked by Anonymous. Yeah, that's all he know. That's all he wanna know. He just know it ain't been him running that Instagram page. Says that's why his crypto coin went from $3 billion to $349 million. Why it went from $3 to a whopping 91 cents is because people been following the wrong Bitcoin. Yeah, you ain't been following the Yeezy coin. That's why he ain't been getting the business. Look, the investors are looking to pull the plug from this shit. You know what I mean? They want to pull the rug from under him. Yeah, this ain't looking good because the prices are dropping daily. But look, he say he was hacked by Anonymous. So I guess he has the excuse. But look here, bro, they say they canceling that coin, the Ye Pay, and the Ye card. You know what I mean? Look, shout out Kanye West, that cocksucker. Eminem dropped a previously unreleased record, fam. Everybody's looking at me. This is on the Stand soundtrack. For you that have seen the documentary, go, did you enjoy it? For those that haven't seen it, go check that out. But this is gonna be on the soundtrack, fam. Everybody's looking at me. Produced by Dr. Dre, the first verses to 2002 Funk Master Flex freestyle expanded into a full song, fam. So if you enjoyed that, you're definitely gonna enjoy this, bro. This was supposed to be on his debut album, The Eminem Show. This is dope. Let's just be honest. Let's just be real. Eminem never ceases to amaze. You know what I mean? But let them tell it. Dolce is doing way better than even Eminem in numbers. So yeah, it's some crazy shit going on behind the scenes, fam. Drop it in the comments. Look, Freddie Gibbs say he is not with the shit, fam. He's calling out all the rappers that's using artificial intelligence to write their lyrics. Chat GTP. Yeah, they typing. He say we live in a lazy day and age of men. Well, the heart is dying and you gotta go to a computer. You gotta ask the computer to write your fucking lyrics. He say that shit is whack, art is dying. And he didn't mention no names, but everybody know Baby Chief Do It just admitted that's where he go. You know what I mean? Look, the world is fucking changing. The world is fucking changing. Machines are fucking taking over, fam. Once y'all accepted the AI into hip hop and y'all daily lives, bro. Y'all basically gave them what they wanted. Let's just be honest. Let's just be real. Y'all basically gave them what they wanted. Now they can make us in the factory. Well, not me, because I'm that original. Drop it in the comments, fam. Scars from the playground. Charleston White throwing shots at Lil Boosie. He say he wishing the worst on him. It's a countdown. Right now, he will be sentenced in federal court for his pistol charge very fucking soon. And he say they hope they lock him up and throw away the motherfucking key. He hopes he gains a new Chinese name, Hang High. He says it's gonna be a great day in hip hop for 9 murdered black males and their families who have been ignored for the longest. Look, this is a Marlo Mike reference, fam. For y'all that don't know, for y'all that just be taking up for Boosie so goddamn hard. The man got a history. He's got a past. Let's not forget that, fam. Remember who you kissing up to. Let's just be honest. Let's just be real. Shout out Charleston White, because he got a point when he mentioned it in that sense. Let's just be honest. Drop it in the comments. Shout out Lil Boosie, but unless he rat and he refused to talk, he's going to jail. Drop it in the comments, man. Scars from the playground. Yellow Beezy receives a trial date for the death of Mo Tree. He's right now on house arrest and electronic monitoring. That's ankle monitor, released on a $750,000 bond for his involvement. They say he hired Keywan White to carry out that hit in 2020 on the freeway. That one that Trap Boy Freddy was laughing about. Let's just be honest, let's just be real. It's not looking good for Yellow Beezy. I don't think a lot of people understand. This is a capital murder for hire charge. This is very fucking serious. You know what I mean? A lot of people think this is just entertainment and rap shit, bro. Unless you're all the way up that totem pole, it ain't, you're not promised to beat this charge. Let's just be honest. Let's just be real. These people feel like they got Yellow Beezy red-handed. Look, shout out Mo Tree, because I was rocking with him. Got to be honest. Drop it in the comments, man. Scars from the playground. Look, Drake voted Hip Hop Artist of the Century. This is via Billboard magazine. They have voted him the top R&B/hip hop artist of the 21st century, despite not officially making the Billboard list until 2009. Drop it in the comments. They say since then the man dropped 30 #1 tracks on the top R&B hip hop charts, 15 top spots for the top hip hop albums. Look, drop it in the comments, fam. The K-Bots would have you think Drake is losing. That man is gone. K-Dot finished him. Look, K-Bots, Drake, this is crazy, fam. They say with his numbers, he's not only the artist of the 21st century, he is the best artist ever. Look, I cannot make this shit up. I'm just being honest. I'm just being real. Drop it in the comments, fam. Hard Wave throwing shots at Young Jeezy. He say Young Jeezy told us to trap it out, but told his son to go to college. He say, bro, that man did what he could to help pack prisons. Could have spent his time to show people how to make it out the trap. Look, he got a point, but I'm gonna be honest with you. I beg to differ. I beg to differ, because you could tell some people to do this right and all this other type of shit, go legitimate. They don't want it. Why? Because that's not the life they live in. Some people need that music to power up what the fuck they got going on momentarily. Let's just be honest. Let's just be real. That's what that Jeezy did. That thug motivation. You know what I mean? He was giving you motivation. He wasn't telling you to go trap or die on some illegitimate shit. Like, it's on you. You got to use this shit for the betterment of yourself. Man, I ain't telling you to go stand on that corner. That ain't what he was doing. Drop it in the comments, man. Scars from the playground. Offset gives Drake his flowers. He say, man, he loves that man. He said that man always showed Migos love. They never had to pay him shit for anything. The features or the videos, he showed up and did everything with no hassle. He say most artists, they want all the publishing. Drake, no. He didn't do none of that shit. He split everything down the middle. Look, this is what Drake does, fam. This is what Drake does. It ain't that he gonna look out for everybody, but when he catch a little whiff of you and he see you might need some help, he's down, fam. If you ain't one of the niggas that bad talking because you choosing Kendrick Lamar in the beef. Drake Warrior, nigga, I need a feature because I hear you handing them out. You know, let's just be honest. Let's just be real. Drop it in the comments. Somebody link me with Drake. Jay-Z denied a collaboration with Cameron. Look, Cameron say he was showing Jigga his album. Jigga liked it, pulled him to the side, say, bro, I didn't know you could rap like that. You know what I mean? It was on some, when he recorded his track 357 for his debut album. Look, he say he told Jay, me and you, what do you think about collaborating? Look, he say, Jay-Z say, man, I'm not here to lobby to be on your album, nigga. You know what I mean? And that was it. You know, it didn't make it happen. Cameron say he didn't take it as no diss. He just say, well, shit, that's how he is. That's always how Jay been. They say Jay behind the scenes was somewhat of an asshole. You know what I mean? It's just somewhat of an asshole. But, bro, just because somebody tell you shit hot doesn't mean y'all would sound good on the track together. Even though one would argue that old Cameron and Jay-Z would have slapped. Man. Drop it in the comments. Young Dolph refused to resolve issues with Yo Gotti before his untimely demise. Look, a famous NBA, they say a powerful NBA player wanted him and Yo Gotti to squash that beef, so he reached out to Yo Gotti. Gotti was down there, have the conversation and try to hash things out. When they called Dolph, hello? Man, you want to sit down with Gotti? He say he ready to have a conversation. Fuck no. He hung up the phone and blocked him. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know what NBA player this is, but Hernandez Govon has told the story. He said everything, all this bullshit could have been avoided. Egos got in the way. That's what it always is. It ain't never really about shit, fam. That's what's crazy. Y'all drop it in the comments, man, but it ain't gonna be the first and he ain't gonna be the last that go over some beef that really just about egos. Cars from the playground, fam. Weekend was offered a $1 billion catalog deal. This is through Lear Capital Group. They proposed a $500 million senior debt, $250 million in junior debt, and $250 million in equity, making it one of the biggest music rights transactions in recent history. This don't necessarily mean The Weeknd is gonna be a billionaire off his catalog. This ain't what that means. You gotta read between the lines, fam. $500 million in senior debt, $250 million in junior debt. This ain't saying it's all going to his pockets. They ain't giving him this in liquid. Look, when Justin Bieber sold his for fun, his catalog for funding, he was still went broke. You know what I mean? This doesn't guarantee you're paid. Look, drop it in the comments, man. Scars from the Playground. Shout out The Weeknd, though. Yeah, shout out The Weeknd, because this is a hell of a deal, though. Just being honest. Drop it in the comments. Look, Billy Surreal's throwing shots at Cat Williams. He say, what happened to Reggie Carroll? Yeah, what happened to him? Allegedly, the man was shot in South Haven, Mississippi, 5 times and left on the curb right outside of Cat Williams' house. That's what he's alleging. He's saying Cat Williams knows something that happened. Not only is Cat Williams trying to cover it up, but he say Red Grant and Monique also know what happened to Reggie Carroll. Look, I don't know Reggie Carroll from a can of paint. You know what I mean? But Cat Williams has yet to respond to these allegations, and everybody want to know what in the fuck is actually going on. Billy Sorrells, he say he handed out. He say, nah, y'all trying to act like y'all didn't know Reggie Carroll. Yeah, y'all know him. And he was at Cat Williams' house. Drop it in the comments. Cars from the Playground. Look, Kobe Bryant biopic announced by Warner Brothers. Warner obtained the script. It is currently in production. The Black Mamba, the 17-year-old phenom. This film is going to be mainly about the days leading up to the NBA draft, fam. For those that don't know, you know what I mean, the kids out there, this man was drafted at 17 out of high school, Lower Merion High School in 1996, 13th draft pick. Originally, he went to the Charlotte Hornets, but they immediately traded him for Vali Divac to the Los Angeles Lakers, which happened to be Kobe's dream team. Look, the movie is in the works right now. Shout out Kobe Bryant. It's only been 5 years since the tragic death. So it's dope they're finally honoring this man on the big screen. Drop it in the comments. Scores from the playground. Look, NBA YoungBoy performing 100-minute sets on a Make America Slime Again tour. Massa on the Massa tour, he's gonna be performing for 100 minutes a night. Look, the tour sold out. YB is locked in. He's gonna be running through about 50 fan favorites a night, nearly 2 hours a night, fam. We gonna see how it go, but he's guaranteed $50 million plus merch. Look, it's gonna be, look, he gonna hold it down, but it's gonna damn near be a whole night full of lip singing. Let's just be honest, let's just be real. He ain't performed like this in 5-6 years, fam. Every fucking night, 100 minutes. I don't think he got the gas in him. Look, we'll see though. Look, shout out Kentrell. NBA YoungBoy, he's back outside, fam. He's back. He ain't going back in that bitch. Why? He's presidentially pardoned. Just being honest, just being real. Drop it in the comments. Look, Whack 100 throwing shots at Young Thug. He say sitting in an interrogation room telling the law enforcement information about somebody else other than yourself is definitely snitching, fam. Look, he was trying to take up for Jeffrey as much as he could because he like him. He like him. But come on, man. Let's just be honest. Let's just be real. Jeffrey went in that bitch and said way more than Gunna. You know what I mean? And yet got it. You know what I mean? Just be honest. Bro, we can all agree Twin need to go gospel. Why? That was his recommendations. You know what I mean? The rat bastard must go gospel. He said that about Gunna, but now it's looking like Thugger might just have to go gospel. That's why his music ain't just so believable no more. You know what I mean? Because he don't even feel it. In his techer, he know he was telling. Drop it in the comments. Scores from the playground. Look, Charleston White throwing shots at Young Thug. Look, I'm guessing it's Young Thug night. Charleston White say Thugger gave him the alley-oop. He plans to slaughter him verbally on every show that he go on and all the next coming interviews. Look, drop it in the comments. He say he prophesied this. He said Thugger was gonna tell. He didn't like the jail conditions, man. You got to remember, Jeffrey went to prison wearing a skirt. You know what I mean? Not the skirts with the shorts and the skirt. He went all the way with it. He's from Atlanta, boss. You know what I mean? Shit, to be honest, let's just be real. Well, look here. Charleston White say he gonna get him. 2 hours investigate. He say what happened to not telling? What happened to lawyer? You know what I mean? Go gospel, fam. Yeah, go gospel. Do the exact thing you said to Gunna. Go gospel. Twin. Drop it in the comments. Scores from the playground. It's only right. Look, Kid Cudi claims weed, marijuana, ruined his life. Look, he checked himself into a rehab because he said he felt too dependent on weed. He got up to a surplus of 15 blunts a day. He said it was taking him down. You know what I mean? He said he had to cut it out of his whole lifestyle. He couldn't do it. He reintroduced it into his system in moderation. Now one joint lasts him a whole day. He just enjoys being sober right now. He said he feels more present. Look, fam, if 15 blunts take you down to your knees, something going on, fam. I don't think it was the blunts, Kid Cudi. Let's just be honest, let's just be real. I think it was the pills. Or the fucking liquor, or a combination of all three. It wasn't just no 15 blunts. It don't do that. Drop it in the comments, man. Scars from the playground. What's going on with you? That must have been a dispensary shit. You must have been stuck on that dispensary shit they talk about. Well, you don't know. That's poison. Drop it in the comments, man. Scars from the playground. Look, YNW Melly fired his whole legal team, all his attorneys for Drew Finan. Look, his current legal team is now entangled in a criminal investigation. It creates a clear conflict of interest, makes it impossible for them to represent him. Look, the court delayed until 2027. It's been all type of shit that's been happening. It's been delayed because of COVID-19, death penalty appeals, mistrial, disputes over evidence. Well, look here. He's choosing to go with Drew Finan. Drew Finan is a celebrity lawyer. Dirk, Offset, Gucci Mane, Cardi B, Lil Nas X. Look, I don't know what's going on with Lil Durk. Yeah, that's a very situation, a big situation that we need to touch on very soon, because Dirk is facing something serious. Look, I don't think it matters who this man picks to represent him. I think Drew Finan ain't gonna even be able to win it. Let's just be honest, let's just be real. Drop it in the comments, fam. Scars from the playground. Look, Young Thug denies snitching despite the interrogation footage. Look, he say, snitch on who? Rat well. I tried to help my brother. Yeah, I tried to free my... Nuh-uh. Stop trying to make me one of them boys. Look, bro, they said I snitched in the back of the cop car about a murder. Look, Thug, if you got to do all this, you don't even believe you didn't snitch. Let's just be honest. Let's just be real, fam. It's a thin line between snitch or not. You know what I mean? You talk for 2 fucking hours. You know, let's just be honest. Let's just be real, fam. If you can't do that, you not only not ready to be in the public eye right now, but you not ready to be a man, fam, because you still lying to yourself despite them having footage on you, fam. You told, you know. Jeffrey, you did what you did. You might well go back to rocking skirts and shit, because the LGBTQPRIA community will accept you. Drop that in the comments, Scars from the playground. Look, Funk Flex announces his retirement from Hot 97. This is a big one, fam. Shock fans, why? The man has been there for 30 years. 30 years and he's retiring, fam. It's become a legendary show. You get to see people interview. On top of that, it's always a Funk Flex freestyle where they mixing up the 5 beats, all type of shit. People go on there and really like do their thing on there. So this kind of crazy to see Funk Flex. Look, he brought the show hip hop to Hot 97 in 1992, fam. 1992. So this is really ending an era, but the man say he got bigger and better things planned. Yeah, that he will be announcing soon. Look, drop it in the comments, but for now, we could say farewell to Funk Flex. He will return something different. You know, just being honest. Drop it in the comments, man. Scars from the playground. Shout out Funk Flex.
If they thought I'ma catch her to play the game like Tetris, I'm one of a kind rap, people tell me I'm a clipper. I've been working 24 hours, summertime to winter. I ain't really at the chill, it gotta be about business.